Welcome in, everyone. It is a Thursday night, here at Howell High School. It is your Francis Howell Vikings coming in at 15-3, taking on the 5-13 Fort Zumwalt West Jaguars. Michael Harvey alongside me here on the pregame. Billy Woods will be joining us shortly for the call. And Michael, we saw these teams not too long ago. It seems like an eternity ago due to COVID and all the snow that we've had, but it was just only a 1-point win for the Vikings. Granted, that was coming off a big win the night before, over Eureka, buzzer beater by Sam Maddox, and then they didn't have Thompson, and that's a big get back right now for the Vikings as their 6'10 guy is back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, obviously all eyes are going to be on Thompson, just seeing him back in the uniform, back here at the H. You mentioned we had a good little break there, and it's good to see him back there, If anything, they could benefit from that long break with getting him back for this game. And, it was a close one earlier in the season, and I'm excited to see how they translate with Thompson back in that lineup for sure.
Yeah, last game, the Jaguars of Fort Zumwalt West, all they really had to worry about is Fortner and Maddox from the scoring. Maddox had 28 in that game, and then Fortner, he was held scoreless. But, now they have another weapon to do the Vikings. And, the Jaguars were coming onto the court. They were kind of getting ready to warm up, and then they saw Thompson, and you just saw a totally different look on their faces just because, that's just another huge weapon for the Vikings.
Definitely, one big part of the game last time these teams saw each other was Chris Kerr had 9 rebounds in that game, dominating under the basket, and obviously that absence of Thompson really played into effect, and Chris Kerr had Trupiano's number, so I'm excited to see that matchup against those two. And, like I said, this is a brand new Vikings team, and they're not going to take this West team light because, like you said, it was a 1-point game. So I'm excited to see how these two go at each other tonight.
The last time the Vikings were on the court was last Friday night, and what a game that was. We unfortunately missed it because we were here with the girls, but the boys took on Troy Buchanan. The game went to overtime. The boys seemed to be trailing the whole second half, were able to come back in that second half. Preston Fortner hit a game-tying 3. It was a fadeaway 3. Not sure if you were able to see it, Michael, but he was probably 2 or 3 feet back from the line, was fading away, shot went up, went in, and he was fouled to tie the game. And then he missed a free throw to give them the lead, but needless to say, that didn't hurt them as they went to overtime, and then they outscored Troy massively in overtime for an 82-76 win. And just what a game that was for Fortner. He had 22 points and then 5 steals. That's just nothing you've seen really from Preston, because Preston is, the quiet guy in the scoring column. And then David Trupiano with 23. And what massive minutes did Trupiano play when Thompson was gone?
Yeah, you mentioned Preston Fortner earlier in this pregame here. He had 0 points in this game last time these two teams faced each other. And once you get that buzzer beater, we saw with Sam Maddox after his buzzer beater, they get hot. They get that hot hand, and they aren't afraid to shoot. So I expect a big game from Fortner, as you mentioned earlier, coming off of 0 points in the last time these two faced, and coming off of a 20-plus point game this last time. He's got the hot hand, so expect a lot from him. And I believe Trupiano, they probably don't want to get Thompson going too much full speed after this is his first game coming back. So Trupiano will be very huge coming off the bench as well today. So I'm excited to see what players do what, and like I said, expect big games from Fortner for sure tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned it exactly. The words out of my mouth is you probably won't see Thompson for maybe 15 minutes of this game due to coming off that ankle injury, but this is probably the healthiest and most rested this team's been since the beginning of the season. They had that quarantine period, but obviously they weren't, well in shape when you're not at the gym for 2 weeks. So, well, that's it for the pregame show. I'm Will Crawford. Alongside me for the pregame show was Michael Harvey. Billy Woods will be joining us here shortly for the call. We're going to have national anthem and starters announced here at the H. You're listening to Viking basketball here on the House. back here at the H, everyone. Will Crawford is here on the call as the starters were just announced for Fort Zumwalt West. West coming in with that 5-13 record. Kyle Harris, number 2, 5'9" guard, the sophomore. He's starting. Number 12, Chris Kerr, averages 12 points per game. He's the big man, 6'4" forward for the Jaguars. Number 20, Michael Ludwig, a sophomore. Johnny Taylor, averaging 9.7 points per game, the 5'11" guard, the junior. And then the senior, 6'5" forward, Judge Jukes. Number 33, the Jaguars are coached by Jeremy Rapp. And, of course, for your Vikings, how different could it be? Number 2, Preston Fortner. Number 3, Sam Maddox. Number 4, Matt James. Number 11, Booker Simmons. And kind of a surprise in the starting lineup, even with Thompson being back, Trupiano is still in that starting lineup for the Vikings. And that's a well-deserving spot for sure for David Trupiano. Like we said, in the pregame, he had 23 of those points for the Vikings in that overtime win at Troy, and just what a victory that was. The Vikings wearing their white unis with the yellow stripe on the pants, yellow and the blue stripe on their sides, and then the all purple with the black numbers for the Jaguars. Trupiano and Kerr meeting at half court. Trupiano wins the tip, gets it to Fortner, and we're on our way here at Francis Howell. First game back since that Troy victory last Friday night due to snow for these Vikings. Trupiano goes up, he's fouled quickly, and he's going to go to the line here rather quickly. That's something Trupiano has done well in his time starting for the Vikings, is making a presence underneath the basket. So Trupiano, he's going to go to the line for 2. Judge Jukes with his first foul already of the night. Trupiano misses the first free throw. Second one is good, though. That gives an early 1-0 lead for the Vikings here this evening. Kerr, the man to bring it out. Now, here is Johnny Taylor. Taylor to Ludwig to Jukes. Back over to Harris. Back over to Taylor. Taylor trying to find some room, going up against Maddox. He goes up with it. Ball hits the bottom of the rim. Here comes Fortner now the other way. Fortner going to slow it down. Gives it to Booker on the free throw line. Booker going to loose handle it. Controls it back, though, and misses the layup. Trupiano gets the offensive board. He goes back up with it. That's no good. And it's going the other way for the Jaguars. Still a good offensive possession there for the Vikings. Now Kerr's going to shoot the 3. That's way off. Fortner, he's going to try to get it, and not able to, as Kyle Harris is able to corral the loose ball. Here's now Ludwig. Ludwig almost turns it over as Sam Thompson playing great offensive defense there. Here is now Harris. Harris trying to find something. Gives it to Michael Ludwig. Back to Johnny Taylor. Back to Jukes. Jukes against Booker Simmons. Jukes definitely taller than Booker Simmons, but Simmons not falling down to the challenge that he's facing. That's a 3 from Taylor. That's no good. Rebound goes to Trupiano, and that's something that the Jaguars did so well against the Vikings in their first matchup, is hit that 3, and that's what kept them really in that game, and they're going to have to hit a lot of them today if they still want to do that. Maddox calling for the screen, doesn't get it, gives it to Fortner. Fortner now in the corner to Matt James. James inside to Trupiano, turns it over almost as it goes off of Chris Kerr. So just getting started here, 6:07 remaining here in the first quarter, 1-0 from a Trupiano free throw. Here's Matt James. Matt James trying to find some room. Gives it to Preston. Preston Fortner, he's going to drive. That's a shot just inside the arc. That's no good. Rebound Trupiano, he goes back up with no foul called. It's going the other way for the Vikings, or for the Jaguars, excuse me. Here's now Kerr. Kerr against Trupiano. Kerr going to go up with it. That's no good. Trupiano playing fantastic defense against the big Chris Kerr. Kerr, Division II football player. He'll be taking his talents to Truman State University to play wide receiver for the Truman State Bearcats, and that's a good layup and in for Booker Simmons. Simmons now in the scoring column. 3-0 here with 5:20 to go here in the first quarter. So Booker Simmons getting himself in the scoring column. Kind of quiet on last Friday night at Troy. Still provided good minutes, though, on his defensive side as he had 3 steals himself. That's inside the Ludwig. What a find from Kyle Harris to Michael Ludwig, and just like that, it's a 1-point game with 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Booker Simmons jump shot from the free throw line, no good. Quick shot that time from Booker Simmons. Here comes Taylor again. Taylor to Harris. Harris back to Taylor. Taylor thought about the 3, didn't take. He's going to drive against Maddox. Step back now, no good. Rebound, it's going to go off of a Viking. And checking in for the first time in quite some time. It was the Eureka game where Sam Thompson hurt that ankle as he is now back in the game. Checking in as well is Shane Kirby. Here's Taylor now. Back to Harris. Back to Jukes. Jukes trying to find something. Gives it to Ludwig. It's Michael Ludwig now, and Ludwig going to draw the foul from Kirby. It's going to be first foul on Shane. And the first on the Vikings. Still just a 1-point game. Low scoring game. 4.5 minutes still to go here in the first quarter. Taylor driving against Maddox. Tipped away from Kirby. Kirby not letting that one go out of bounds. Still good, hard defense that time from Shane Kirby. Here's Michael Ludwig, just a sophomore, playing a lot of varsity time. He hit a lot of good 3s in that last time these 2 teams faces. That's what kept the Jaguars in that game against the Vikings. Here's now Taylor. Kerr was also only shot 50% in that game. Didn't take many shots. Did a lot of turnovers, though. So he traveled a lot, and he was definitely not happy about it. And Kerr's going to hit that one out of bounds, and it's going to stay to the Vikings. Up by 1 with 3:39 to go. So here's Booker inside to Sam Thompson. Thompson makes a move, and welcome back. Sam Thompson makes a move inside. Gets the Vikings a 3-point lead now with 3:19 to go. Here's Judge Jukes. Jukes gives it to Harris inside. There's Kerr. Kerr with the reach around basket and good. Makes it 5-4. Preston Fortner. Fortner into Maddox inside the Booker. Booker making the move. Back out to Maddox. Maddox back out to Kirby. Kirby thought about the 3, didn't take it. Gives it back to Fortner. Cross court to Maddox. Maddox inside of Simmons. Now Fortner to Maddox. Maddox jump shot. That's good from Sam Maddox.
And how demoralizing is that for Fort Zumwalt to be getting back on defense and be able to have the rotations that they have and be able to break down the offensive play just for Maddox to hit a shot with a hand right in his face.
7-4 is the score here with 2:26 to go. Here's Kerr driving in, passes out to Jukes, over to Taylor. Taylor for 3, that's good. Johnny Taylor ties it right back up. So all the work that the Vikings kind of have done on the offensive side, just 1-3, ties it up just like that. And that's what kept them in the game, if you remember, Billy, last time these 2 teams played.
Yeah, it was right right down to the wire last time they played, and I felt like if Chris Kerr, the I guess star player you can call it for Fort Zumwalt, I felt like if he would have had a better first half, that might have been a lot more interesting of a game.
And there's Sam Thompson back with his second bucket. He has now 5. Thompson missed almost over 2 weeks due to that ankle injury. Doesn't seem like he missed a beat as he makes a clean 3 there. Tries to block that one on Jukes, not able to. So as Judge Jukes gets that bucket to go. Fortner inside to Thompson. Thompson being double teamed. He's going to go up with it. Gets that one to come in somehow. And Thompson gets the bounce, gets it up and in. He already has 7 coming off the bench in this one. Here's Taylor. He's going to give it to Kerr. Kerr with just a floater over Thompson. That's good. So Chris Kerr almost doing already better than he did last game when these two teams met. He only had 6 in that one.
Yeah, I mean, we get to watch the Francis Howell boys every single night, so it's I actually look forward sometimes to looking at some of the opposition, and I was really looking forward to seeing him play. I mean, he's such a natural athlete, he's such a gifted athlete too, and I really wanted him to have a bigger game that game and assert himself more.
And there's Thompson with another bucket, and there's Thompson again with the block, shutting Kerr down as Kerr all he can do is smile, and it's definitely not something he saw last time these two teams play. Welcome back, Sam Thompson. Going back to the bench, he is, though. Trying to definitely use his minutes wisely. Coming back in is Trupiano and Royce Wibbenmeyer.
Yeah, it's a little tougher whenever someone who's 6'10" isn't down there.
Here's Kerr against Trupiano now. Here's Kerr against Trupiano underneath. And there's Fortner with the takeaway. It was tipped by Maddox first, and there's Michael Ludwig with the takeaway. Right back, and then there's Taylor not able to hold on to it, and Fortner not able to control his body, so he runs into Taylor. He's going to be called with the foul.
And of course, Fortner is maybe the most aggressive defender that they have as far as, I mean, he averages almost 3 steals a game, and so you love to see him get in there. But with the leg injuries he's had this season, you kind of like have to hold your breath a little bit every time he gets hit like that.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely looks like he moves his body in scary ways at points in time, but nonetheless, he always comes up okay, it seems like. Here's Ludwig. Deep 3 from Michael Ludwig. No good as time expires, and that's where we'll end here. 14-11 is the score. After just 5 points in the first 4 minutes, we had a big last 4. So at the end of 1, it's 14-11 in favor of your Francis Howell Vikings. You're listening to Francis Howell Basketball here on the Howell Activities Network. To 11 is the score after 1. We're back here at the H. Wibbenmeyer, Kirby, Fortner, Maddox, and Trupiano on the court for the Vikings.
Quite the defensive unit out here, and then you got Maddox as basically the main, I guess, offensive facilitator you'd have.
Yeah, Maddox, the big scorer on the court right now, and there's a good find. And Fortner, though, he rejects it. Preston Fortner not letting Kyle Harris go up easy with that one.
Man, there's no way he's only 5'10".
Right. Fortner only listed as 5'10" on the roster, and he is a shorter guy for sure on this team. But
the way he plays, though.
Yeah, he looks like he can get up as high as, Thompson. That's a deep 3 from Taylor. No foul call, wanted it.
I think he tried to sell the foul instead of making the shot, and that's where you'll get hurt sometimes being a shooter.
Here's out to Kirby, over to Maddox, back to Fortner, back to Kirby. Kirby, baseline jump shot, that's his shot for sure as he gets that one to go. It's 16-11.
Especially when it's a zone defense and they play off of him and he's able to get like step forward a foot and get like his comfortable setting in front of him, he hits that baseline mid-range shot more times than he misses it.
Dylan Bates, who averages over 5 points a game for the Jaguars, haven't seen him yet. That's taken away by Wibbenmeyer. Here's Kirby, though. He's going to have to slow it down. Back to Wibbenmeyer it goes. Wibbenmeyer to Kirby to Fortner. Fortner inside the Trupiano. Trupiano trying to make his move. He gets up with it. That's good from David Trupiano.
Seeing right there, I mean, it's not like Trupiano really did anything special there. Kerr just kind of like let him get in a spot and not did anything. I would like to see Kerr be more aggressive down there as he goes with a beautiful spin layup.
Yeah, Kerr definitely being more useful in this game for the Jaguars compared to the last one. The last one, remember, Billy, there was like back-to-back possessions. He was underneath the basket, and he committed a travel. Obviously, we disagreed with half of them, it seemed like, in that game, but there was still a lot of traveling going on by the Jaguars, including by Kerr.
There was a weird stretch of about a week there where we saw 3 straight games that there was a lot of weird traveling calls. It's almost like they had like a meeting or something that week beforehand that were like, hey, we need to start tightening down our travel calls.
And there's Wibbenmeyer with the bucket. Chris Kerr definitely not even looking towards Wibbenmeyer's way, and Fortner knew it immediately as Wibbenmeyer was found underneath, wide open, gets that layup to going in.
Yeah, and when you're playing a team like the Vikings, you can't allow easy baskets like that, especially whenever they're able to get points in bunches now with Thompson back.
So 20-13, 6 minutes go here in the first half. Good game being back so far from the Vikings after almost another week break. Here's Kirby against Ludwig. Taylor against Maddox. Goes inside the Kerr. Kerr using his body against Trupiano. He gets that jump shot to go. That was a high arc jump shot. Gets it to go, and it's 20-15. Kerr.
Yeah, that's good defense by Trupiano. He was right there in his face.
Inside to Wibbenmeyer, inside to Trupiano. Trupiano, he's going to go up with it. He gets the bucket to go.
And right there, you see Trupiano's strength as he's able just to have Kerr just basically bounce off of him so he can get the easy pass.
Trupiano still started this game despite Thompson being back, and he still looks like a starter. We've said it multiple times all year long that Trupiano was on any other team, he'd probably be their starting center.
Trupiano, he's the type of guy, he could be a double-double kind of guy with averages if he was starting anywhere else. And yeah, with Thompson, this is his first game back. You're probably going to see the next week them kind of limit his minutes a little bit, especially with the postseason coming up, because this is a team that looks to make a big postseason push.
So checking back in is Matt James, Sam Thompson, and Booker Simmons. And in the pregame, Billy, me and Michael discussed on how Trupiano had 23 against Troy, and he's really the facilitator that kept him in that game against Troy. As that's a up and in shot good that time from the Jaguars.
Well, the thing that really I think throws people off a lot is that whenever Thompson comes out, I think people automatically assume that they're not going to get offense anywhere, and so someone like Trupiano will catch you by surprise because he is a very, like with footwork and his technique and his able to to position himself. He is a very sound player. I think that just throws people off.
And Taylor trying to go up against Maddox and Thompson, 2 guys definitely bigger than him, and that's a 3 from Matt James. That's good.
Thompson didn't even have to move. He just stood there.
Yeah, Thompson knew that one was going in. He stopped before he even went into the paint or anything, and it was an easy shot there for Matt James, as it's now pushed to an 8-point lead, the biggest of the game. Now here's Maddox. He has one-on-one opportunity. He goes up with a layup, and that's good. Just like that. 10-point game for the Vikings. 27-17, 4 minutes to go.
And the Vikings have such a sound defensive unit that, and it really across all the board, I mean, even their worst defender is someone who's still a very capable player. So it's like, they have really no weak spots, and so you're going to have trouble scoring against them, and you can't just allow easy buckets like that to where it's just Maddox by himself getting an easy layup.
Here's Kyle Harris, or excuse me, Taylor. Taylor going to try to drive in. He's going to get pushed, it looked like, or caught an elbow. It's going to be on Simmons. So there's an off-ball foul against Booker Simmons, and it's going to be the 3rd team foul for the Vikings. Here's Ludwig. Ludwig all the way down court to Taylor. Taylor able to thankfully save it for the Jaguars and keep this offense possession alive for Fort Zumwalt West. Here's Ludwig. Tries to give it to Kerr. Kerr not able to handle it. He gets it back, though, and he goes up for the layup. That's no good.
And see, even if Kerr misses that layup, I still like to see that aggression from him just to be able to get down there.
And there's Maddox off the backboard. And there's just not one player on the court right now that is not a bucket for Francis Howell.
Yeah, their worst scorer on the court right now is maybe Fortner, who we know can score really at any time he wants to. I mean, the first game he had this year, whenever he first hurt his leg, he had, I think, their first 8 points of the game, and I was sitting here thinking, like, oh my gosh, we might see like a 25-point performance from Fortner, and then he ends up hurting his leg, and we kind of got deprived of that scenario.
There's James with the 3 again. That's no good. Rebound, though, to Thompson. Thompson, he's just going to use his body. He's going to go up with it, and that's good for Thompson. Fortner had 22 last Friday night against Troy, and so he definitely came alive in that one for the Vikings. Here's Ludwig to Kerr, and it just seems like every Viking has had their night to really go off for more than 20. You know, Matt James has done it. Thompson obviously has done it. Fortner had it on Friday. Simmons has had it. And then obviously Maddox there was 2 weeks straight that he was getting more than 20 points per game.
He was, I mean, he had like a 4 or 5 game stretch there where he was averaging 25, 26 points per game. And we saw actually at the end of that, we saw he had a couple of performances where he was starting to score back in his mid-teens. But how exciting was that stretch for them to lose Thompson and still just be in every single night? We saw the game winner the one night. We saw the ice free throws he had. I mean, they were awesome for those few weeks there without Thompson.
Yeah, most definitely. So it's 31-17, a minute 45 to go here in the first half. Timeout by Jeremy Rapp and the Fort Zumwalt West Jaguars. It's only a 30-second timeout, so we'll stick right here with you. But you were just mentioning that.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is, in a weird way, I almost think the Thompson injury was good for the team as a whole because I think it really enabled a lot of guys. I mean, you saw Jude James come up and get a lot of minutes. You saw Maddox have to score 20 points a game. You saw a lot of guys who had to step up. Trupiano, obviously, he had the 20-point game. And so I feel like in the long run, now that all these guys know that, hey, even we can all do our thing, I think in the long run that's going to be better for them in a weird way.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely understand where you're coming from. Obviously, we never wanted to see Sam get hurt. Big year for Sam is, he's looking towards next season where he could be playing college basketball somewhere, and he's definitely a big piece for this Viking team. But you just said it. It definitely made the team come more together in a way as they now knew that they had to rely on each other and not just, rely on Thompson. And that helps Thompson, too, because now Thompson feels like he maybe doesn't have to have it all on his back, and maybe he doesn't think the team all thinks it's on his back. So,
like, he doesn't have to go out there and score 30 points every night. He can go out there and, if he wants to have a game where it's like, I'm going to let everyone get hot, then he can do that.
Yeah, 100%. That's a three by Kerr, no good. Jukes gets the loose ball, goes back to Kerr, though. And you were mentioning Jude James. We haven't seen him yet tonight, but he is going to the scoring table to check in. But now, wow, what minutes did he provide with Thompson being gone? Jude James is only a sophomore. It looks like he's a senior out there with how he uses his body.
Well, actually, in the couple game stretch that he was playing some decent minutes for them as Trupiano's backup. He averaged over two stocks a game, which stocks are steals and blocks combined. So, I mean, his energy, just even though he might, be an underclassman, might be, skinnier than some of the guys he's going against. Like right now, if he's matched up against Chris Kerr, he's going to have a little bit of a size disadvantage. But just his raw athleticism, he's able to be a part of every play. And then we even saw at the end of it there, he was starting to enable himself offensively with being confident with attacking the rim and stuff.
Yeah, it seemed he was a big factor in that massive Holt victory almost 2 weeks ago for the Vikings. He was really big off the bench as Trupiano was in foul trouble in that one, and he just held Daniel Mooney, a big scorer for Holt Indians, and Jude James was a big scorer himself as he almost had 10 points that game. So just as you said, Billy, we all thought about his defense as first because of his size and his advantages underneath the basket, but he was able to get the buckets to go in last time. That's a takeaway for the Vikings.
And that's what you want from guys like him, who are just in it every play. There's just guys who, no matter even if the play's not ran for them, even if they're not guarding the guy who has the ball, they're just in every play.
So 10 seconds to go. Last shot opportunity here for the Vikings. 31-19 here in the first half. Trupiano trying to make a move. He's going to get called with the travel. His pivot move foot slipped. And he disagrees with the call, but
I think he kept his pivot foot. I think it just looked awkward. Especially sometimes with the speed of the game, stuff just gets called.
Here's Kerr now. He's going to step back for the three. Trupiano in his face, not able to get that to go. But what a good first half for the Vikings. Vikings only averaging about 52 points per game. 31 of those 52 just came in the first half there. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll have the halftime report coming up here for you right after this break. You're listening to Francis Howell Basketball here on the Howell Activities Network.
And we're back here at the H after a big first half from Francis Howell Vikings. Billy, what did you think about that first quarter?
I love they're going to limit Thompson's minutes probably for the next week or two, especially while they prepare for the postseason. So how great is it to see him be able just to look like he hasn't even lost a step in his game? I love the energy coming out right out of the gate. One of my biggest criticisms of the team, and it's not even a big thing, it's just that sometimes they start off really slow in their games. I just love to see them attack right from the beginning. And besides that, just seeing everyone like just kind of just connecting on all levels right now. There really hasn't been any flaws in their game today.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely know what you're saying as far as it takes them maybe a quarter or so to get going a little bit, but they really came out tonight and really, slow start, scoring a few points at the beginning, but they really got going, and it didn't take them too long tonight, and like you said, Sam Thompson, although he's limited minutes tonight, he's really making those minutes worth it is what I can see from now. Pretty much controlling the paint. I mean, I don't see a player on West that could even compete with him under there for now.
No, and Kerr is such a good athlete, but at times it just seems like he gets lost, especially on defensive possessions. He gets lost, and I just feel like on offense he doesn't fully attack like he should. And the couple times he has, which I want him to do, even if he's going to get blocked by Thompson, the couple times that he has attacked, he's either just had to throw up a wild layup because Thompson's down there, or even Trupiano, who, I mean, that's a guy who could be a double-double a night kind of guy if he was anywhere else. So, yeah, right now West just isn't going to be able to have an answer for Maddox, who's able to score 25, 30 a game if he wants to. Thompson, who now can get an easy bucket whenever he wants to. That's just going to be hard for any team.
100%. You mentioned Trupiano. Do you think, throughout the season, they kind of got a 1-2 punch with this Thompson and Trupiano? Now that Thompson has been able to take a load off a little bit, you think you'll be able to see more of Trupiano throughout, the bigger games coming down the line?
Well, I had mentioned it right before the end of that half. I think, as weirdly as this is going to sound, I think the Thompson injury was almost good for the team as a whole because it kind of enabled a lot of those guys. Trupiano was able to have multiple high rebound games. He was able to have that 20-point performance. A lot of the other guys were able to shine as scorers. So I think in the grand scheme of things, that injury was almost good for the team in a way. Now, I'm sure Thompson isn't going to like it for his stats at some point in his career. But, yeah, I mean, Trupiano, they're going to have such a big – I mean, because Thompson comes out, and that's a guy who averages 30 and 10 basically, and all of a sudden now here comes the 6'6", 220-pound guy and Trupiano, who's as aggressive as they come. And I think it throws a lot of teams off, and they can't relax because he's able to position himself so well underneath the basket.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you had to say about it almost being I wouldn't say a benefit to the team, but it's really allowed them to, gel together a lot more. You had your guys like Sam Maddox, which I heard you mention throughout the broadcast. He was on a stretch there dropping no less than 25 points a game. And, you get those players with confidence, especially seniors, they'll realize how much more this season, how much they carry on this team. And you really see that, you got your role players like Matt James and Jude James coming off the bench as well. And they're really being able to find out their position on the squad and, get a meaning for it for sure. So.
Okay, after seeing the minutes that Jude James got, I almost had to start a fan club or something for it because I was loving the energy on the court.
His effort is commendable out there 100%. He's always, you see that football effort come out on the field because he's very aggressive and he's very, focused throughout the whole time. So,
yeah, and another thing too, they've had a couple of blowout wins here recently. It's always nice to see some of the guys who don't usually get minutes. There was at the end of one game, my prospect for next year, Corey McCauley, he had a chance for a transition dunk, and they would have had to bring in the ambulance. I would have saw him get a wide open dunk in a game. I see him in the pregame stuff, and it's incredible.
I know they were waiting for it during that game, so maybe we might see it throughout the rest of the year. So
the way they're playing tonight, they definitely there'll be some guys that get some minutes tonight too.
Yep, hopefully that carries on, and I guess we will see here coming up in about 3 more minutes here at the H.
back here at the H. About here ending halftime. Currently 31-19 is the score, and big first half. 9 points off the bench for Sam Thompson, and then Trupiano using his body underneath the basket, and it just everyone seems to be getting involved, Billy.
Yeah, and once again, we talked about it before about how Michael mentioned it in during the halftime. It's just one of the biggest things you can give an athlete is confidence and enabling, especially in basketball. You need to enable guys because at times you're just going to have to go out and get a bucket. And definitely the last 2 weeks for this team was just enabling guys.
So it's 31-19. Just getting started here in the second half. Maddox trying to drive back out to Simmons. Simmons with the three. That's in and out, no good. Swings around the rim, and it's going the other way for the Vikings. We were talking in the dead break there, and that's Kerr going up with a hit. He's fouled by Trupiano, but we were talking about Ethan Hatfield. He had 4 threes in that game, and we haven't even seen him get off the bench tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm calling it correctly, but I think he might have hit all 4 of them across it was like a span of like the middle of the third quarter to the middle of the fourth quarter, and it just was like kind of caught everyone off guard for Francis Howell, and it just was a way where Francis Howell just couldn't like pull away because they had so many guys who were able to hit threes.
Kerr misses that first free throw,
which was a struggle for him last time they played too.
Yeah, if you just think about how many opportunities Kerr had underneath the basket and at the free throw line, that could have been a totally different game for the Jaguars. Easily won. They could have won. And can you name a cleaner shot than that Sam Maddox just went up with?
Yeah, with how close that game was, that really was Fort Zumwalt's game to lose in a way, more than it was Francis Howell's game to win, especially with the injuries they had and when the foul trouble that some of the players were into. So, yeah, they definitely Fort Zumwalt definitely left one on the table that night. And it all starts with the easy stuff.
Another jumper from Maddox. That's no good. Rebound, no to Trupiano. Trupiano going to get fouled. He's going to go to the line for 2. Foul is going to go against Kerr. 33-20, just getting started here. Minute into the second half. You mentioned it. It seemed like the Jaguars, especially that fourth quarter, they weren't as aggressive as they were the first 3 quarters, and that's why they were in that game, and that's why the Vikings were able to finally get that lead and hold on to it. And you mentioned it, that the Jaguars just seemed like they were trying to play to win, or they were trying not to lose instead of trying to play to win.
Yeah, and you have to keep your foot on the pedal. I hate when teams go conservative at times or get shelled up or whatever. With the way their offense was going that night, they just needed to keep going. And I think Kerr in that game had a pretty good fourth quarter too compared to the rest of his night. And one example, I wanted to mention it before it gets too far in the game. If you want to know how strong Trupiano is, he went for that rebound down there, and Kerr, who is a 6'4" football player, bounced right off of him.
And Maddox up with the jump shot, no good. James, though, able to get that loose ball somehow, just puts it back in, makes it 36-20 with 6:28 to go here in the third. And you missed it, Billy, on Friday night, the Friday before, when the Vikings pretty much demolished Holt at Holt. We got to see a lot of bench players like Corey McCauley and Xavier Machado, Lucas Brzezinski, and what is different, though, is the team was all together in that game. As there's a timeout by Jeremy Rapp. We'll just keep it here real quick, but that was just a complete team effort against Holt, and you could just see how much this team has come together, and everyone was hyped on the bench, even though it wasn't the starters, and they were winning that game by 30.
Yeah, if you ever want to know how good Francis Howell has been this season, look at the 2 Holt games. The first one, they held Holt scoreless in the first quarter, and Holt has 2 guys who are 2 of the top scorers in the area. They're 2 guys who are able to go out and get buckets, and both times they played them, they've been able to shut everyone down, and it's just been awesome to watch. And anytime you can get some of the guys, we're probably going to end up seeing it tonight with the way the game's going. Anytime you can get some of the guys in that don't usually get to play, it's just great because everyone gets so excited. You see the benches standing the whole time whenever they're not even their second unit, like their third unit is in essentially.
Yeah, definitely. Their second unit is pretty much what's on the bench right now with Booker Simmons and David Trupiano. Simmons wasn't a starter. He rarely actually got playing time. He didn't appear in very many minutes to start the season, but now he's definitely emerged as one of the top players for this team, and well-deserving the junior is.
Is there a correlation with you writing about him for next year's football season and his starting minutes in basketball?
Maybe.
Was there a correlation?
Maybe there was. Maybe Kurt Jacobs saw the article and said, maybe I need to get him some minutes on the court, and that'll help his football career.
Exactly. I need to get the quarterback a chance to get out here at shooting guard.
Absolutely. So now here's Fortner. Still trying to find some, gives it to Maddox. Inside to Trupiano. Trupiano versus Kerr again, and Kerr able to block that one. And he must have caught a piece of Trupiano when he was coming down with his hand. That's the only thing I could have thought there, because it seemed like Kerr was straight up with it, is he either didn't have that right arm all the way up, or he somehow came down with a little piece of Trupiano with him.
Yeah, I actually disagree with that call. I like the defense there, and once again, that's just Trupiano backing someone down with all of his strength, and turn around, and I think he's done it a few too many times to Kerr tonight for Kerr to let him do it again.
So Trupiano made the first one, misses the second one, but earlier in the year, you would have thought Trupiano would have gone 0 for 2 from every time from the line, and he's definitely progressed himself from the line as well, and just made himself a better player as Jukes airballs the floater on that one. Not a really good possession for the Jaguars there, but Trupiano's definitely made himself better, and they're going to call a double dribble on that.
Yeah, he glitched in the midair. That was just a...
I thought someone must have got a piece of that for it to be hit like that, and Coach Jacobs asking about that too, but no conference nonetheless. Jaguar ball, but it looked like Sam went up with it to pass it, and then Johnny Taylor got a piece of it. Nonetheless, Jaguar ball. Jaguars still trying to get back into this one. Chris Kerr trying to get some offensive movement here, gives it to Taylor. Taylor almost loses his footing there. Taylor going to drive, going up against the big Trupiano, and it's hit away by Fortner. Fortner able to save it. What a save by Preston Fortner, and what can't he do on the basketball court?
Guy's like a Swiss Army knife.
And you think that there might be still a chance for Fortner to play somewhere at the next level, and you hate to see it because of maybe his height, but...
Speaking of Fortner, of course, the one boys game he missed this year, guy hits a game-tying three-pointer, gets fouled to go to the line to win it, and they go into overtime and end up winning.
Yeah, me and Michael talked about that in the pregame, that we literally missed the game of the year last Friday night in Troy, and what a performance from the Vikings.
Yeah, the Sam Maddox's three-point shot to win the game, that was just so, just being here, that was such a big moment, so... I don't know, I think that one would have to overseed it, but that was crazy.
Yeah, Maddox went up for the three. He was about 2 to 3 feet away from the line, did a fadeaway shot, was fouled when he shot it, had the three go in, and then all eyes on him, all the weight on his back to make one free throw, missed it, went into overtime, and the Vikings never looked back after that three. And you could just tell, though, by listening to the game and watching it, that Troy just seemed gassed by how the Vikings came back in that one and were able to take that tie into overtime. That's in and out for Maddox. Kirby able to get the rebound, though. That's able to go back, and Shane Kirby with the putback.
Yeah, and I asked Maddox after that game because he'd been on a couple game stretch at that point. I think that was like game 3 of him, just being crazy. And I asked him about the difference between good shots and bad shots, because the type of shots that he was having to take and make, people who don't play the game a whole lot, and I'm not even talking about professionally or college, just going out to the court and just playing. People will call those bad shots, and if you're someone who practices it and lives that game, those aren't bad shots. Just it doesn't matter what the shot is if you know the shot, and if you practice it before. And I asked him about that after the game, and he was confident of, hey, I practice these shots, and this is what I do.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that he was not missing a beat in that Eureka game, as he hit probably at least 15 of his 28 that night in the fourth quarter, when he hit back-to-back-to-back threes every time for the Vikings on the offensive side. Up by 19 are the Vikings now, 3:40 to go here in the third quarter. The Jaguars just trying to get some offensive movement going. That's a deep three from Taylor. That's no good, and another empty possession for the Jaguars. Here's Maddox now. Maddox to Kirby. Kirby back out to Fortner. Fortner to Maddox. Big stretch of games coming up for the Vikings. Here's inside to Simmons, blocked by Jukes. But the Vikings play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and next Saturday, starting with districts. So busy time coming up for the Vikings. The Vikings also play tomorrow night when they host here. And then they have the girls on Saturday. And Kerr takes that one away from Fortner. And Fortner was looking for the foul as Kerr was guarding Maddox. No call, though, and still, nonetheless, still a big point game here for the Vikings. There's Taylor. He drives in. That's no good. Rebound to Thompson. What a find from Kirby to Booker, and that's going to be blocked by Jukes. Jukes felt like a big man there and made the big man move when he was down by 17 with 2:15 to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, well, when you're 6'5", it's pretty easy to be a big man. Right, I love Simmons' aggressiveness there to put his shoulder into the bigger guy. It's just when you know that you have whenever you're the smaller guy, you just need to go up quick with it.
2:16 to go here in the third quarter. All Francis Howell right now in this one. Kerr gives it to Taylor. Back to Kerr. Thompson letting Kerr work on the top of the key as Jukes just makes a move against Kirby, and that makes it 39-24. Back to a 15-point game. No Trupiano or Drew James on the court. See if we'll have a substitution there. There's a timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick timeout ourselves. You're listening to Francis Howell Basketball here on the Howell Activities Network. Back here at the H after a quick timeout from head coach Kurt Jacob. Webermeyer checking in for the Viking. Here's Fortner to Maddox inside to Kirby. Kirby to Thompson. Thompson being heavily guarded by Jukes. Back out to Fortner it goes. That's a three from Kirby. That's no good. Rebound to Kerr. That's Kerr. Jump shot from the elbow. That's no good. So nothing really falling for the Jaguars in this quarter. They're kind of, it's been like that the whole game where they just can't get their easy shots to go. Thompson goes up with it. No foul call. There's Wibbenmeyer, though, with the follow back. And what a job by Wibbenmeyer to follow the shot there.
Yeah, you just got to stay active. And right there, that's just basic basketball discipline as far as Fort Zumwalt, not boxing out. And that just I'm not paying attention to the detail.
Here's Taylor going to drive against Fortner, loses handle, hands it off to Kerr. Kerr inside the Jukes, and there's Wibbenmeyer with the takeaway. And all the way down the other end, it goes to Maddox, and it's going to be goaltending for sure by Kerr. I was wondering if they were going to call that or a foul, but definitely looked like Chris Kerr hit that ball after it hit the rim.
Yeah, and Sam doesn't look happy that he's coming out right now.
Coming back in, though, is David Trupiano.
And I know, being someone like him who's the star player, you definitely don't want to. You definitely hate taking 2 weeks off of basketball essentially for an injury, and coming back, it's a slow process, but you don't want to overdo it with a 30-minute a game kind of schedule. You want to come in slowly, especially when you're up by 20 in a game.
Yeah, and especially with what the Vikings have to endure coming in the next week. A lot of games are happening in between now and next Saturday, and next Saturday could be the start of districts for the Vikings. So Kurt Jacob calling out the play. Last shot opportunity for the Vikings as there's less than 10 seconds to go now here in the quarter. 43-24. Fortner with the three. That's good from Preston Fortner. All Fortner can do there is smile. And that's a deep shot. That's no good, and that's what we'll take the break. 46-24. What a dominant performance for the Vikings. We'll take a quick timeout. Thank you to these sponsors coming up, showing up on your screen. We'll just like to thank them here on the Howell Activities Network. But you're listening to Francis Howell Basketball here on the Howell Activities Network. (46-24) is the score coming in this fourth quarter. On the court is Lucas Brzezinski, Royce Wibbemeyer, David Trupiano, Shane Kirby, and Preston Fortner. Still the same five for the Jaguars, still trying to get back into this one. Just taking a quick look at the schedule for your Vikings, Lady Vikings tomorrow night. The Lady Vikings host Troy Buchanan here at 5 p.m. We'll have that one here on the Howell Activities Network. Then we got the boys at 7:15 as they host Holt. And that's going to be senior night starting about 6:30 for the Vikings. And should be a fun game on senior night for the Vikings as they've played Holt twice now, and Holt hasn't scored more than 40 points in either game. And then on Saturday, we got the girls at 12:30 as they host Fort Zumwalt East. Monday, the girls, once again, they host Francis Howell Central. That was a close loss at Howell Central, so should be a good one here at the H. That's blocked by Jukes against Trupiano. Brzezinski able to control the loose ball. And Tuesday, we got Fort Zumwalt South non-conference matchup coming in here to the H as Fort Zumwalt South takes on the Lady Vikings, and then the boys take on Kirkwood. So that should be another good one for Francis Howell. And then Wednesday finishing up is Ritnor coming in against Francis Howell. So busy few days coming up for the Vikings as that ball goes out of bounds off of a Viking. And checking in is going to be Maddox Thompson and Matt James. Also is Booker Simmons. So the same starting five except Trupiano on the court right now for the Vikings despite being up by 20 with 6:41 to go. That's going to be a foul on Matt James.
That's going to be a great senior night, too, for Francis Howell. I mean, look. I mean, you can see it up on the wall over here with their banners they made for them. They have a great senior group this year.
So back on the court, there's Kerr for the deep three. And that's why he's had so much room. Foul on the court against Jukes. That's going to be the third team foul. Oh, it's going to go against Matt James. It looks like he pointed right at Jukes. And
I think he was in the play.
he's looking at Jukes like, what did I do to get the foul? And we're just as confused as he is. It seemed like Matt James was on our near side here, and it was Maddoxon going up against Jukes.
Maybe the ref's just jealous of the hair.
Honestly, you know, Matt James is all business in the front, but he's definitely a party
There's
in the
a
back.
lot of party in the back.
That's taken away by Kerr. See what kind of foul they call on that.
Foul's call number 12, Chris Kerr, his third personal.
It's going to be his third of the game, so he's getting close to being in foul trouble here for the Jaguars. Nothing to lose, though, keeping him in there down by 20 with only 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, and I mean, with Sam having the kind of the leg injury, the foot leg injury that he had, you know, you don't know what kind of conditioning he's had the last couple of weeks, so it's never a bad idea for him just to get out there and just run around. Like if I was Coach Jacob, I would be telling him, hey, we're up by 20, don't try to do anything to get hurt. I would just be telling him just do sprints up and down the court for the next couple minutes.
5:55 to go, and that made it a 48-26 lead. There's Maddox with the takeaway. Maddox, he's going to slow it up. Gives it to Thompson. Thompson being heavily guarded by Jukes. What a find from Thompson, and it's fouled by Booker Simmons, and he's got the and one. What a job by Booker Simmons, and Sam Thompson doing a fantastic job getting that ball inside the Booker.
Checking in for the Jaguars, number 24, Grant Hale.
Yeah, what a difference in games from this one to the last time they played 2 weeks ago.
So Booker Simmons with his and one opportunity coming at the scoring table. To check in is Jude James. Booker hits the shot. Checking in is James and Booker Simmons. So just what a performance, though, from the Vikings. You know, could have had excuses, could have been slow coming out, but they didn't miss a beat thus far. You know, they average just over 50 points per game. They're already here with 5.5 to go here in the fourth.
And they're already here with a cold third quarter. I thought they were kind of lacking in that third quarter a bit.
There's Kerr with his own and one, looking right at Sparks. And he'll go to the line for the and one.
Yeah, I don't know if they're flexing their size on because they're bigger than Sparks, but you're down by 30, so you might want to worry about the priorities of the game.
Yeah, Chris Kerr smiling, making jokes with Judge Jukes there, but Sparks, you know, he got a lot of minutes to start the season off the bench for the Vikings. Hasn't so much now, but still, just like you said, they're, you know, down by 20 plus now here with less than 5.5 to go. It's definitely a loss probably in the column unless we see something crazy happen here at the H.
Now I've seen some crazy things happen in my day.
That's a three from Maddox. That's so good. Matt James, though, with the rebound. Back out to Fortner. Fortner, he's going to give it a shot for three. That's no good. In and out. James, though, trying to get the rebound out and poke it out. Maddox not able to get the loose ball, and it's the Jaguars, but so needless to say, still a great performance here at the H. You know, I was saying that could have been a long night for the Vikings. They could have been tired, could have been winded, could have made excuses, and they never did as Kerr gets that layup to go up and in.
Yeah, this is about stat padding time. This is when people are out there, they're going to get their season averages.
Here's Sparks. He tried to find Maddox. Maddox wasn't expecting that pass. Here's Matt James. He's going to shoot the three, does James. That's no good. He tries to follow his own shot, not able to get it. Is Michael Ludwig as he gets it, and that's going to be hit from Jude James and Kurt Jacob yelling at someone.
Yeah, I mean, tonight's just been a total team performance. No really standout, you know, player doing above crazy things like, you know, we see sometimes. This is just a total team effort coming out and just getting the quick, easy victory.
So 51-31 is the score. 4 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. James going up there against Mole. Mole gives it to Kerr. Kerr with the jump shot, no good. Rebound goes to Jude James. And there's Maddox, baseline jump shot, no good though. Goes back to Sparks. Sparks goes up with it. And that's when Sparks, you know, being a competitive nature, easily could have turned around and flexed like Kerr did on him, but Sparks being a humble guy, and you know that Kurt Jacob definitely doesn't teach him any other way, and just went up and in with that easy bucket. Fortner maybe got a piece against that one against Taylor, or it was either a bad shot. It's another empty possession for the Jaguars. Here's Fortner. Out to James. James for three. That's in and out. Put back by Fortner as he's fouled by Taylor, and what a putback that would have been. And needless to say, Fortner's going to go to the line for two as he was pushed.
15 foul. Preston Fortner at the line to shoot two. Checking in for the Vikings, number 14.
Checking in is going to be Shane Kirby for Matt James. Also at the scoring table, he must be coming in for Fortner, is Xavier Machado.
Now it's about to get interesting. You're about to see a very hyped up bench.
And for the
Machado coming in for Fortner. 55-31 is the score with 3:17 to go. Kerr goes to the bench as well, though, for the Jaguars as time is expiring. Maddox gets a piece of that one and saved by Sparks, and that's what you love to see. Here's Kirby. Kirby, he's going to go up with the up and layup. That's no good, though. Too much on the layup, and here's Jukes with the rebound. That's a deep three. That's no good. Rebound goes to Sparks again. So Sparks playing really hard here with less than 5 minutes to go, and all that is keeping this game from being over is the score, or the time. Here's Machado. Machado goes up with it. That's good from Xavier Machado. And Kurt Jacob going to call it. He's going to call a sub. Coming in is Corey McCauley now for the Vikings.
And Jukes was fishing for an offensive call. I didn't even see where he thought the offensive foul would have came from.
The only thing I could have thought of was maybe a travel, but that's it.
But he was walking up the court holding his face like he was hit.
Yeah. Here's Jukes, though. He's going up against Machado. There's a foul called against Machado. And Jukes will go to the line for the and one.
Did he just do an eating celebration?
I think so.
My word.
Jukes going with the and one. No good on it. Rebound goes to Sparks. Here's Brzezinski. Gives it to McCauley. James inside to Machado. Machado again, no good. Gets his own rebound. Goes back up with it. Machado with 4 points.
Put him in the torture chamber down low.
Only thing we need now is Macaulay dunk. You know, we've been wanting it all year. As he almost steals it away there. Not able to get it.
I'm telling you,
cleanly.
in the pregame, we don't show it. In the pregame, this man doesn't even like move. He just dunks it somehow.
Here's Brzezinski. Brzezinski, he's going to drive in. He's going to shoot it up. That's no good. Brzezinski tried to get that jump shot to go, not able to. Now that's a three. That's going to be tipped. Put back there by Mole. And Mayo now getting in the scoring column. 59-35, 120 to go here at the H. Here's McCauley now. McCauley jump shot from the line. That's too much. Rebound to Brzezinski. Back out to James, to Machado. Back out to McCauley. McCauley for three. That's no good. Rebound to Jukes. And Jukes can't handle it. Almost loses it. He's able to control it. And that's going to be taken away by McCauley. Here comes James now the other way. James inside to Brzezinski. Brzezinski jump shot from the baseline. That's no good. And that's going to be Jude James. He definitely caught a piece there. And he's going to get the foul, but he sent that ball definitely. That would have went probably to Fort Zumwalt West if there was no inside there. As he hit that ball straight to the gym wall.
Yeah, between Sparks, James, and McCauley, there's a lot of athleticism on the court right now.
Free throw no good. Second one up. That one's no good either. Here's Machado now. Gives it to Brzezinski. Brzezinski gives it to James. And to Sparks. Sparks going to get called with the travel. Good thought by Donovan Sparks there with the fadeaway, but just took an extra step with it without dribbling, and easy call there for the baseline ref. So less than 30 seconds to go here at the H. Vikings looking to improve here rather quickly. That three is up. That's no good. Rebound goes to the Jaguars, though. That's another three. That one's no good either. Here comes McCauley. McCauley less than 5 seconds ago. He's going to take it straight to the hoop. McCauley, no foul called there, and that's where we'll end it, though. 59-35 is the score, and just a complete team effort, complete team domination from the Vikings here tonight, and we'll look forward to that. More of that tomorrow night, Billy, as the Vikings host Holt, and that should be another good game for the Vikings. And Billy, you got any final thoughts for us this evening?
I think everything that we needed to say, we were able to say those first 3 quarters, because the last quarter was somewhat, just irrelevant to a point because they had such a big lead. Just a total team effort, as we've said before, and how nice that to see Thompson be able to get some easy buckets and be able to run the court like he was after missing 2 weeks. So, postseason's coming up. It's going to be a dangerous team.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a deep roster team, and definitely a team that's looking to make a run. They're currently number 3, only behind CBC and Chaminade, and man, let me tell you, I cannot wait for postseason basketball here for the Vikings. For my partner, Billy Woods, I'm Will Crawford. We'll have the Lady Vikings and the Vikings basketball here tomorrow night starting at 5 p.m. here on Howell at